Food. We all need it. In fact, it's a decision that we really never had a say in. Whether you're cutting calories, devoting yourself to veganism, or prohibited by a food taboo, we're all still consuming food sometime, somewhere. So yeah, food's important, but many of us don't realize how important it really is. When we purchase food from a grocery store or supermarket, all we see is a simple price tag on an item. What we don't see is the labor, resources, money, and most importantly, the time not only need to transport it from farmers to consumers, but to grow it in the first place. We all know that in order for a plant to grow, it requires 3 basic ingredients: water, light, and good old air, carbon dioxide and oxygen. But that's a bit of a stretch. Plants need a healthy dosage of nutrients, microorganisms, minerals, and a balance of all the elements to flower, bear fruit, and thrive. This makes agriculture one of the most unpredictable and risky businesses in the world. But for one of the oldest practices on Earth, it is not an industry lacking technology. The second and third agricultural revolutions brought forward great mechanization, innovation, transportation, and scientific development towards the food industry. This helped increase the yields and productivity of conventional farms while lowering the cost of transportation from farmer to consumer. Despite all these innovations and changes made to the industry of agriculture, there have still been common traits across time: rain, sun, and soil. But even that's beginning to change. Hydroponics, aquaponics, and aeroponics are the future of agriculture. Hydroponics is the growing of plants in a water solvent of minerals and nutrients. This method is said to produce more greens and reduce water usage by 90%. Aquaponics is the combination of aquaculture practices along with hydroponics. And aeroponics is the spraying of plants' roots with mineral and nutrient-rich water. This method is said to even reduce the amount of water used in hydroponics by 70%. One of the ways we see these new agricultural practices being used today is in the method of vertical farming. Vertical farming is the growing of plants in stacked racks indoors. This greatly increases the productivity of the farm per square foot. This method also helps avoid common obstacles to conventional farming, such as varying weather and pollution. Also, it helps reduce the amount of wilderness that is being converted to farmland, not even mentioning how it helps reduce runoff. The only downside to this method of farming is that you're missing one of the key resources: sunlight. Without the free source of the elements, vertical farmers have to use electricity to provide light, air circulation, and pumps for water. So what does all this information mean? There's a new counterculture to agriculture. This is the Reston Farmers Market, a congregation of vegetables, artisan products, and eager vendors that meet every Saturday from April to December. The farmers market is the symbolic opposition towards the mass-produced, often GMO-saturated food products grown by agribusinesses. Here, the farmers market embraces local producers, organic and pesticide-free products, and above all, human interaction. I had the opportunity to interview John, the manager who has been running the whole Reston Farmers Market operation for 21 years. He refers to himself by his self-proclaimed title of the Market Master, a leader I'll gladly get behind.
Okay, I can't necessarily speak for all farmers markets, but I'll tell you what, the people here are looking for fresh food. They're looking for food that tastes good. People were hungry for it. We started it 21 years ago, and I'd like to tell you I'm some kind of genius, but in fact, from day one, we've had a great attendance. It's taste, but it's also nutrition.
Yeah.
People are very conscious about what goes into their food. People who come to the Reston Farmers Market will go and spend time asking people, well, how do you grow that? What kind of pesticides do you put on it? And they want to know.
Yeah.
And there's a preference for organic and that kind of thing. And going and buying food from somebody who actually produced it. Maybe it's ice cream, maybe it's goat cheese like we have over there.
Yeah.
Or any of these other things, the breads. But to go in there and stand and talk to the person who produced it is something that people really dig.
Yeah.
These folks are all, not all, probably 2/3 of them are relatively new to farming and the production of what goes here. The long tradition farming family that came from farms that were there 100 years ago,
Yeah.
most of them are gone.
Wow.
You've got a number of people here who were lawyers, or who worked in not a grocery store necessarily, but in a retail market.
Yeah.
They decided they were fed up with it and they wanted to start a farm. And they were able to get 5 or 6 acres of land, and they go out and they produce. By the way, you can produce a lot of vegetables on 5 acres.
Yeah, oh yeah, I've seen with
Okay?
lettuce,
It's
yeah.
not like cattle or corn or anything. You can produce a lot on 5 acres. So you've got an interesting kind of new kind of farmer as well. Not just farmers whose families have been there forever. But people who are brand new to it.
Yeah.
Got sick and tired of being a lawyer or being a high-tech guy.
Yeah.
Went out and started a farm.
So one last question remains. What does agriculture mean to me? Well, it actually means a lot. If you couldn't tell already, I'm a gardener. My family has a little 5 by 12 foot plot of dirt in our backyard where this whole obsession with agriculture started. Every summer for the past few years now I've been planting, tending, and growing food out from the ground into my mouth. I love the process of seeing plants grow. It's an awesome feeling when in only a 6-month span of time I can turn one single seed into a plant making handfuls of food. I grow tomatoes, peppers, lettuces, eggplants, cucumbers, you get the point. To see life literally grow and blossom in front of me is a sort of humbling experience. It's manual work, and I certainly have my fair share of muddy clothes, beads of sweat, and bug bites. But I love it. Nothing is more satisfying than making a fresh pesto out of the basil that I grew, or making a delicious tomato pasta out of the cherry tomatoes that I've harvested from my own backyard. I think everyone should pick up gardening, not just because it's a hobby where you get to eat what you make, but it's a hobby that will literally make you grow.